Hi, Rick. You ready to do this?
Yes, Keith, I am.
Great. The title of this short podcast is going to be Leading or Serving by Consent. This is inspired by a book called A Different Kind of Power, where the author is Jacinda Ardern, and she was the prime minister of New Zealand,
Hmm.
and just an amazing leader. And she talked about her father and growing up, and he was a police officer in New Zealand. And there was one incident in which, her father was teaching her all these lessons, and there were these group of people that she saw surrounding her father that were upset with the police force. It was very antagonistic relationship at that time with the people that were indigenous to New Zealand and the
Hmm.
people that came in there and settled, just like a lot of this, colonialism. And her father was being, kind of circled by these guys, and she would happen to be walking home from school, and her father said, Jacinda, go home. And so later that night, her father comes home, and she's interested in learning, like, did her father, how did her father get out of that situation? And he's like, did you have to arrest them or beat them up? And he said something like, he said, Jacinda, my words will always be more powerful than any kind of physical force.
Hmm.
And he went on to say that his
Hmm.
approach to serving in the police force was he saw himself as a citizen serving in the police force.
Hmm. Hmm.
And this is how I am choosing to move through life, is that I've been granted this opportunity to be on this planet, and the way that I want to serve is I want to serve with other people's consent. I don't want to give advice that's not asked for. I want people to welcome it, if that's the case. And I don't want to pass off my judgments on others or the way that I think things have to be done. I just really want to serve with consent. And that really resonated with me, Rick. So I'll pause there and let you take it from here. What are your thoughts?
I think serve by consent is a wonderful way to look at all of your life, whether you're in a role that is service oriented or whether you're just walking around on the planet. Serving with consent, the whole idea is that we're designed to work together. Humans are social, are education, our wiring, our futures are all tied up in cooperation with other people. And the idea of serving is really an idea about cooperating. And cooperating is kind of, I would say it's kind of a love interest. It's kind of a self-interest, but at the same time, that self is enhanced by working with the other people. So the consent is not something that we should think of as giving up, that we're losing something, we're giving up of ourselves something that we would like to keep and not have to share, but rather the opposite, that the more you can serve by consent, the more consent you can get from other people, the more cooperation, the better our lives are personally. So I love that idea. And I don't think it applies just to police or firemen or docs in the ER. I think it applies to everybody walking around on the planet. If we can have this notion that you and I are basically in this thing together, and we both need to help one another as best we can to move on and have the best possible life for ourselves and our kids and the ones we love. It makes it so much easier. One last point I'd like to make. We seem to be able as humans to do that with our spouses or with our kids. We seem to be able to do that with our clans, the people that are our cousins, let's say. And we seem to be able to do that with even extended clans, like people who belong to our church, our social groups. But when it comes to something bigger, when it comes to like a county or a state or a country or the world, we have a hell of a time getting that concept down. And I don't know why that is. It seems to me that if the principle works with your kids and your family and your church members and others that you are close to, why can't it work for the whole world? Why can't it work for people you haven't met? The strangers who are out there that are just like you, that would be just like your spouse or your kids, if you'd give yourself the opportunity to look at it that way. So, service by consent, I think that's a universal, important principle, but I also think it's not applied as broadly as it should be to everyone and not just those people that we're related to or people that can help us in some way.
Yeah, I completely agree, Rick. And I think about it in terms of if I take an example of me at work, and I come up with an idea, if I am contributing or serving by consent, I'm open to other people, you know, uh, contributing to the idea or whatever it is that we're working on. And I'm also open to them saying, hey, Keith, the idea you have, while we appreciate you expressing it, that's not what we want right now. And not feeling diminished in any way
Mhm.
because I'm literally serving by consent. And if what I have you find is helpful, then great. Or you think that, hey, it's not helpful right now, that's great too. And so I think that's what it is by serving by consent. You're coming into every space with an open heart and open mind. And it's more about, like you said, Rick, the partnership, the collaboration, the cooperation. And I just think that's a beautiful way to really live and to move through life. And I'm just grateful for, our friendship has literally been by consent. I mean, continuing to just show up and give to each other. Uh,
And it comes back to you like 100 times. It's not
yeah,
like you're
totally.
giving something up, right?
Oh,
You're enhancing your own life experience and you're enhancing your the joy that you experience living by being able to help somebody else or by consenting with other people to do help for them and them helping you in the same way. I love that idea. I think that's how humans are built and that's how we should be functioning. My point is that it shouldn't be limited to our
right.
work environment. My point is it should be the default for everybody,
Exactly. I mean,
everywhere.
and how easy does life become when you live that way, right? I mean,
Yeah, it's true. It's
it's
true.
beautiful. Well, Rick, thank you so much. I love you.
I love you, Keith. Thanks for including me. See you next time.
See you next time.